I had maybe 1 to 2 Christian friends throughout my entire childhood up to age 18.
Wow.
Which she's saying wow because that's crazy. It's pivotal. Everything you do in your life is super connected with Jesus.
I think you actually physically had a heart attack. Like you were like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What's up, world? Welcome to the Rooted Real podcast. I'm your host, Carlie Dill. We ask real questions with real people about the real world. We're so excited to have you here. And with that, let's hop right into this week's episode of the Rooted Real podcast. What's up, world? Welcome to the Rooted Real podcast. I'm your host, Carlie Dill, and I am joined today by none other than one of my best friends, Sam Leon Cachet, all the way from across.
You finally learned my second name. For about 2 years, and still in her phone, she has me as Sam C, which has got nothing to do with what I'm actually called.
Okay, well,
I'm glad we've made it to this point.
I didn't get there, but if you can't tell, he's from across the pond in the Europe, the United Kingdom.
Yes, yeah.
Both? Is it both?
Yeah, it is both, yeah.
Both and Europe and the United Kingdom.
Not the European Union, but Europe, the continent.
Right, because of Brexit. Yeah,
We're learning.
I keep up. Okay, Sam. Hey. Sam, really quick, can you do your American accent for everybody?
You know what? It's been a long time coming. I watch a lot of sports, so I'm like, Curry for 3, that's great. Bucket. So that's kind of where that derives from. We're learning. I was in Texas last week. My southern accent needs a lot of work, unfortunately.
He sounds very flamboyant. His southern accent is very flamboyant, to say the least. Okay, well.
We're learning.
We're learning. Okay, well, Sam, where are we? We're in America.
In America. On another visit. Shock. I've probably spent more time here than I have in my own house for the last couple of years.
Sorry, Sam's parents. They're like, you keep going to America.
No, I love it here. Mm-hmm. Finally, the sun has come out. For a week or so, it was better weather in the UK than it was in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he's unfortunately brought the weather. You haven't brought the weather with you.
Thank you for clarifying.
Everywhere we go to Texas, thunderstorm, lightning, like everything. We come here, gloomy, rain. It's okay. We've been having a good time. Okay, well, I think it's so ironic because we obviously talk about God on this podcast, and how Sam and I met is so, like, it's one of the few moments in my life that I'm like, this was like so, okay, actually.
It's a God thing.
It's a God thing. Like, it's like so clear that was so from God. Like, the fact that we met you was crazy. Like, we really shouldn't have ever met you.
Yep.
Okay, but Susie and I weren't even supposed to be on this trip. So Susie and I planned this trip, and where I was working, they were having this party in New York, but we weren't even supposed to go, and I wasn't even invited. Like, work didn't pay for it, but I wanted to be there so bad that I was like, we're gonna go, we're gonna fly, and Susie was like, I'll go with you. And
for context, this was in New York City.
We were in LA.
3.5 years ago.
A couple years ago, and we were in LA, and everybody was going to New York, and I wanted to go, but we weren't really supposed to be able to go, and then we showed up in New York.
And I was at this event,
Sam was
chilling,
just hanging out.
And then, if you've met Carlie, you guys are getting the podcast version currently. The first version I met was producer version, which is
screaming on a megaphone.
One of the most scary people I've ever met in my life. So it's like immediate respect. And then, luckily she's warmed up a little bit. But producer Carlie means business, let me tell you that. But I met them there, and then they said, almost like as a throwaway comment, come out to LA in a couple of months.
Yeah, we tell everyone, we're like, yeah, come visit LA, free place to stay, for sure. And Sam's like, all right.
I've heard that comment also. I've heard her say that comment to people dozens of times.
How many people have I invited to LA?
All the time. I'm probably one of the few to be like, sure, yeah, okay.
But you're also not. Like, we have you, we have Caleb from Hawaii. Shout out Caleb from Hawaii. He's come to visit. So many people have come to, like, see us, but you were the first.
The adopted foreign children.
You're the first big one. So then.
The Mount Rushmore of foreign children.
It's like you. It's like Caleb. I'm trying to think. There's like other. Oh, and then Roz. Sarah. Wait, who? Roz. And all the others that have come to see us. And so then we met, and then you came, and that was the beginning of...
That was when, you could definitely put it up as one of the top 3 to 5 most life-changing moments.
You think?
Yes, 100%.
You really think so?
That have changed the course of not only my career, but my personal life, understanding of what it means to be a part of a community, what being a good friend looks like, loving other people. Yeah, really pivotal.
That's so crazy. Well, I mean, we're honored. Or not London. Okay,
I was born in London.
You were born in London, I know. You're from Oxford.
Correct.
Why don't you tell us just what it's like living in England? And you're very awesome. If you know Sam, he has the best fam in the world. I had the privilege to go and meet his family because no one else was down to go. So I was like, fine, like I'm not waiting around for everybody to come to Europe with me. Like I'll go to Europe. So we went to London, got to meet the fam. We got to meet Ollie and Ben. Shout out Ollie and Ben. Hey, miss you. And I guess Charlie now, but miss you. And yeah, I think it was just such an interesting experience seeing your life. So why don't you just tell us?
It was crazy having worlds collide with you, who I describe as someone's pretty American. Then meeting my
American?
very British friends. It was a lot of fireworks, very funny.
Right.
Good stories.
Right.
Yeah, living in the UK is kind of similar on the surface to America, you know. Advanced countries both have technological capabilities. We can use the internet. We kind of do similar things. And especially in the work world, like the day-to-day looks pretty similar.
Yeah.
Same brands, same stuff going on, activities, less pickleball, but, you know.
Bummer.
But it's similar things. And then you kind of peel back the layers of the onion and you realize, there's actually a lot of differences that people either don't initially see or come up when you do certain things or act a certain way, which has been something that I've had to learn. And because I like America, I like the culture, I like the sports, I like what you guys have got going on over here. I've learned that over the last couple of years. So to see my friends from home be faced with meeting you and Susie and Americans, and then seeing that real juxtaposition and actually the differences that how we do things is interesting. They don't use you guys don't use kettles, which is...
We don't use kettles, and y'all don't put fruit on salad. Like, I just don't
I think maybe that's just a me thing.
Sam freaked out, and we were at Thanksgiving, and I put strawberries on the salad, and he just had a heart attack. I think you actually physically had a heart attack. Like, you were like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway.
Yeah, if you've ever met a British person and you've copied their accent, tried to copy their accent, one, it's not a very good accent. You're probably not up to the standard. And two, they've heard it about 50 times already that day. So you're not kind of
don't be
a
like
trailblazer.
Me. Don't be like me.
We're quite used to it at this point.
Don't be like me. And everyone's like, oh, do you only turn on your British accent with Sam surrounded? I'm like, yeah. I literally was telling McCall on the way here, I said, everyone's going to listen to the podcast just so they can listen to Sam's accent.
That's the clickbait, is it?
Yeah, click on this video to listen to a Brit.
Wow, that's such an insightful thing you've said there, Carlie. Just pod clipping.
You mean clip farming, as Nate Earl would say? Okay,
yeah.
Sorry, we're off. Anyway, okay, so you're saying they're similar, but they're also different. Okay, so you've been to America like what? Like, do you know how many times?
It'll be like around 10 now.
That's a lot of times. And these are like extended stints in America.
Like 10 days to 2 weeks.
10 days to 3-4 weeks, like long amounts of time. So I would love to hear like how you feel like America in general is different than the UK, but also like especially for your faith, like how is the church different and like what is that, and like even like just in practicing faith.
Both of the answers to those questions are quite similar.
Really?
And it has to do with the attitude of people generally. The big thing that I first noticed, being a creative, being a filmmaker, someone who wants to make things but doesn't always have a path to do so. It's like you have these goals, aspirations. I'm like telling someone that I want to do something. In the UK, they might be like, oh, wow, that's good for you. Like, enjoy that. What's the plan? Like, okay. in America, immediately there's this like wave of enthusiasm, excitement, like, oh my gosh, bro, that's insane. How can I help? Like, let me get you connected with this person, that person. I'm like, wow, like it's an overwhelming sense of excitement, here to help. That's cool what you're doing. And that has been a real big blessing for me personally with my work and what I want to be doing, because it's given me a lot more determination and belief that you can do it. Because, I mean, the American dream is, you know, you've got this chance, take it, it's there for you, you just got to work hard and make it happen. And it is a cliche, but it is a cliche for a reason, a stereotype that I think is probably truer than people realise.
Wow.
And then that is kind of parallel with what I've experienced church-wise, or just in a faith-based setting, whereas at home, and I love my churches that I've been to at home, amazingly faithful people that I've met and teaching the Bible, so I've loved it. The big feeling that I got when I came to America and got stuck into some of the churches here was how joyful it was. Sometimes I've been a victim in the church of just being around people that are kind of sort of on a lower kind of, hang on, let me see. I'm gonna redo that a little bit.
That's fine.
I need to phrase this right, otherwise I'll be getting some text.
Hi, we're canceling Sam.
Yeah. The overwhelming feeling when walking into American churches for me has been that of joyfulness, worship, happiness, thankfulness. And contrastingly a little bit with the UK, it's often slightly more victim sin focused, that just from what I've experienced, which leads to a little bit less of the joy and happiness. And a big thing for me is trying not to feel guilty about sin. And that's something I've struggled with for a long time.
Yeah.
And actually looking at us the way that Jesus looks at us, wiped clean, being joyful, being like able to live this amazing life to the full because of what he's done for us. And I've been able to see that really clearly here. People are rejoicing. And obviously there's bits that I would take from the UK experience that I've had that I hold very, very dear to my heart in terms of the teaching of the Bible, the actually getting stuck into the text and looking at what the word says rather than kind of going around and looking more at morals and principles. Like, I'm a huge believer in let's get down to what is written in the Word of God. God so breathed. It's just fine. And you know, I'm not a member of a church here. I'm visiting, and so I've been to a bunch of different churches that I've really enjoyed. But I'm not a member of a church here, so that is the caveat, which is I'm sure I'd see a lot more come to fruition had I get plugged into a life group or a small group, you know, that kind of thing. And similarly with my UK churches, I'm not plugged into a church because I've been moving around a little bit, but very keen in the next couple of months to really get stuck into a church and join small groups, and there I'm sure I'm going to see a lot of fruit and friendships and stuff come out of that, which I'm excited for.
That's so good. I think it's really interesting too, like even like the time you've been here right now, I feel like I don't just feel like, I think it's very evident America's in a bit of like a revival right now. Like we're in a bit of like a resurgence.
That word keeps coming up.
Yeah, it's like a bit of a resurgence of Christianity, and it's really interesting because I think we I don't know what y'all are told, but we are told that Europe is very post-Christian, that it's very like it's a very hard place. And again, it's not bad. There are people there that love God, but it's just the numbers it's a bit more like our East Coast. The numbers are a bit smaller. The youth numbers are, way less. It's a bit, different in theology. And so I think that's just really interesting to hear your perspective on coming here, because I think we obviously are also, there's a lot going on here, but also we're in a very unique time. So I think it's cool that you're here. I think it's really interesting too. I think what was so cool is when we met you, we just like had this like, we just, like, had this sense that you were, like, a Christian. And I remember Duncan was like, dude, that guy's a Christian. And I was like, no way. Like, of course he's a Christian.
We were talking about how I wanted to make a Bible series, and he was like, no way, me too.
Yeah. And he was like, no way, me too. And we laughed, and he was like, that guy, like, we gotta be friends with that guy. I was like, you're so right. But I think, I had a question. I just think, like, it's really interesting that you were a believer, and that, like, God is the same God everywhere. And I think this, like, and you coming into our lives, I think has been so interesting because, and as I've traveled and we've gone to South Africa and we go to these different places, like, I've been so encouraged that, like, whoa, you actually believe the same thing we do. Yeah. And, like, I'm curious, like, how you have felt, like, coming over here.
And that's been a really eye-opening experience for me over the last few years, not only traveling between the UK and the States, but also South Africa, other places in Europe. I lived in Spain for a year, and that was massive in opening my eyes to the fact that it is this one God, and the denominational kind of boxes that often believers put themselves in and close off between even having conversations or engaging with different topics across these, not arbitrary, but fairly kind of
secondary.
Yeah. Denominations was really interesting. And having been to a lot of different types of churches that I was not brought up in, I was brought up in kind of an Anglican conservative feeling church. And so being able to experience different ways of worship, different ways that people engage with Jesus and the gospel has been really great for my faith and the way that I speak to people, I think. And it's just given me a lot more appreciation for what people do around the globe. And it's not kind of closing these people off because they believe this, but rather, you know, how would Jesus treat people with love and kind of acceptance first, and then you kind of can talk about things.
That's so good.
I mean, from my experience growing up, I had maybe 1 to 2 Christian friends throughout my entire childhood up to age 18.
Wow.
Which she's saying wow because that's crazy to her, right? And that's what I noticed.
Because you were a Christian growing up.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I went to church. I enjoyed going to my summer camps. I enjoyed going to my small group at church and at school even. But yeah, mates that I would hang out with outside of those activities that everyone congregates at, 1, maybe 2. And so that was really difficult because, and for all kids, I think it's so important to have people that are your friends who also believe what you do.
Totally.
And it's great to have friends that you can minister to and who just aren't Christians but you hang out with and you're good buddies. Like, that is amazing. But equally to, even at a young age, and because I knew what was going on. Like, I knew that I needed Christian friends. I was just like, I don't have a car. I don't have a I'm 15, I'm 14. I can't do this. That was always really difficult. And then the pivotal moment for me was going to university in the north of England, and I got there and I was like hit with this, whoa, these cool people go to a church, they believe what I believe, but they're cool, and I would hang out with them even if they didn't know Jesus.
But them knowing Jesus
is a huge plus, a huge encouragement.
Yeah.
Reading the Bible together and going to church together, but also just having a cup of tea and a chat, and that was a really pivotal thing. And then that has only been increased in the years since then, coming to the States and meeting people from all around the globe who believe what I believe. Is just the biggest encouragement, because you cannot do it alone. I think that is the moral of the story.
So good.
Right? And having community, what these guys have got going on in LA that I'm just so blessed to be a small part of, is one of the most amazing communities I've ever seen. And it just bears so much fruit for the city, but also for their personal lives, because it's encouragement between friends.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what's so special about it is you can live here or you can come and visit, and all these different people like come all the time. And we've been able to just build friendships and community literally all over the world through, like, literally Jordan Twally was here yesterday, and he like is from Australia and just flew in from, I don't Uzbekistan, not actually, but like somewhere crazy, like I don't even know where, you know, like I don't even know.
You can list the countries, probably been there.
Yeah, it'd probably be in there. Like, I mean, he's been like everywhere, but I'm just saying it's so crazy that we see the guy like once or twice a year and you're like, oh, wow, like you're still like a part of this community. Like Jay Taft doesn't even live here and we're like, oh, but so I think it's really cool that we have this like network community that like is actually a web that is like covers like so much of the globe.
Yeah.
And I think it's like such a big blessing, but it was so cool to have people come visit and like want to be here. Like that's crazy, you know? And so,
also to build something similar back home. Like, I'm super excited moving to London to create or be a part of something similar where you hang out as friends, you do things, you go to the movies, but also you have Bible studies and just, it's not a taboo subject to talk about Jesus and to even people who aren't believers are in this community and are really open with conversations about faith just casually. And it doesn't have to be this sit down, right, what do you think about Jesus kind of conversation, right? It's just like, it's the biggest part of my life. And therefore I just naturally every day I'm going to share that because I'm so stoked about it.
Yeah, it's so good. Well, that's awesome. I think it's I think that's so exciting. Yeah, it's so good. So Sam loves a couple things, okay? Sam's known for a few things, everyone. I've been learning. He loves a sweet treat, okay? Sam loves his matcha. He loves a sweet treat, okay?
I do drink normal coffee as well. This is actually the first time.
No, it's not the first time you've gone matcha.
From like a legit coffee shop. Other than Starbucks lavender. I wasn't going to mention
Sam's
that.
been getting his matcha every day. I haven't even seen you get real coffee.
I got flat white yesterday. Let's return to regularly scheduled programming, please. Let's not. If anyone sees this back home, they're going to be like, oh, what were you doing over in America with your green thing?
Okay, so Sam likes a sweet treat. He loves God. He does. You love your camera. And you love sports. So comment down below what you think of Shedeur Sanders being drafted as the 144th pick in the NFL draft.
This is her plan to find a husband, is to learn about sports and go up to random men in bars and be like, what do you think about Shedeur Sanders?
We tested it out. People were not a fan of Shedeur Sanders, but Shedeur Sanders, if you're seeing this, you know, you're loved by God, and we're so glad that you went pro. But that is my big tactic. So Sam made me watch the draft, and so I felt invested in Shedeur Sanders getting drafted. Anyway, back to our regular schedule.
And we're converting you into a big Warriors fan.
I am becoming a Warriors fan. We love Steph Curry. And hold on.
For next week. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Well,
last night?
Yep.
So he's out for good?
No, for a week, for like 2-3 games.
We have the other guy though, the tall one, Jimmy Butler. I know about Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
I know about Jimmy Butler. And who's the tall guy that got in a fight and got ejected out of that one game?
Draymond. That might be the wrong guy from the Warriors. Yeah, Draymond.
Okay, yeah.
He's the guy that gets in the tussles. He's our
We saw someone else get ejected. So I'm a Warriors fan now.
That's big.
I care about the draft, and I'm learning golf.
Yeah, we've taken her to play golf twice now. Once at the range, once on the course.
I'm better this time.
Yeah.
I was decent.
Market improvement, actually. If I improve like that every single time, I might be on tour. So, I mean, we had on the first. I'm not trying to expose you, but we had a couple of consecutive whooshes. Yeah, and then. I'm not sure we had many whooshes at all.
No, I hit the ball most
contact.
of the time. Decent contact. Shout out Ben Glenns, Coach Ben.
Yeah, it wasn't any of my doing.
Sam didn't help at all, actually. Sam laughed.
I had other clients.
Okay, well, on that note, this whole podcast is going to be us laughing at each other. Okay, on that note, Sam, why do you love sports so much? I actually don't know this. Sam's mom played pro tennis too.
It's probably in my genes, right? My mum played tennis, and
your dad's also tall.
Dad played rugby, so
your dad did play rugby. I forgot. Your dad's so cool.
Yeah. So
your mom's cooler though.
Yeah, sorry, Chad. my middle brother. So I'm the eldest of three. My middle brother plays professional cricket.
Yeah, Zach does.
and I make videos. So,
but you make videos about golf.
Yeah, about sports. It was.
Callum's fit too, though.
Yeah, he does great.
Yeah,
great things. He's sports coach.
Y'all
right
are
now.
like sport fam.
Yeah, so if like some people are movie families or what
vacation
other,
family.
whatever other families do, I don't know. We're a sport family. Like every day after school, playing cricket outside in the garden, playing football
in the garden,
soccer. So I love it. It's like it's only live once. You see this thing happen, and it's like gets all of the tension, the excitement, everything in my blood. Like it's just incredible. And
Sam could have gone pro. If you hadn't gotten injured, I bet you would have gone.
In what sport?
Maybe cricket.
Probably not. I think people can attest to that.
Oh, you think? I don't know.
But it's like I probably didn't have the mentality for it. I like matcha too much, maybe. But it's like I follow pretty much every sport. I've really gotten into my American sports.
You love American football.
Yeah, I like the way that they do it. I like how the kind of worst team gets the first pick. Unfortunately, my football club, Cardiff City, just got relegated. So we would have had the first pick. Turns out we're in League One now.
I don't know what that means, but that means... Okay, whatever, whatever.
But, it's like the ultimate almost mirror for life in an hour game or a 2-hour game, however long. The ups and the downs, the kind of the person that it molds you into being, the competitiveness, the strategy, the determination, the heart, the resilience, all of these adjectives that we use to describe people who are successful, people who have led good lives or enjoying themselves. I think sport is a huge kind of mirror of that, and I will forever kind of make things about sport, think about it, follow it. It will always be a huge part of my life, whether I'm playing it or not. And that has bled into my work. 95% of my work is in sports. Yeah. Because it's just like you just can't get enough. It's
it's so good.
And when I'm at home, I'm watching it. So.
So good. And I just love that you love American football. I feel like it's good for us. It's good for us. No, that's awesome. I think sports is something I'm dabbling in these days. But I think sport is similar to the church. I think it's something that like really brings people together. Yeah. It's like really like, I think it's something that we don't really talk about enough in the sense of like how communal being a part of a team is, or like even if it's a solo thing, like the idea of like you can't do that alone most of the time, So I think that's like a really interesting thing. But yeah, you're really passionate about it. I feel like I have gained an appreciation for sports through being friends with you. I'm learning all the things.
And I have met a lot of people that just do not care about sports.
Right.
And I almost feel like they would care if they knew some of the storylines and stuff. It's difficult to get into sports or a particular sport if you've not done it before or if you don't know about it. I had that with American football, the NBA in the last 5 years.
When did you watch American football, like legit?
It was in COVID.
Really?
Yeah. Before that, I didn't know much about it. I didn't even watch the Super Bowl or anything like that. And bearing in mind, like, my life is a lot of sport. I didn't engage with it really at all. And then in COVID, when it started, we got locked down, then the draft was online, and I kind of got into knowing some of the players' storylines because it was one of the only things on TV that was actually of significance in the sports world. And then from there, I watched the NFL post like a top 100 list of their players, and that's a really quick way to get to know a bunch of players and like what they do and why they're cool. And I love the strategy, the tactics of sports, like what these players are paid to actually do in their positions, because I didn't really know at that point. And from there, it just snowballed, and I went to a game in London. I flew out. I watched the game at SoFi. So like, I feel like I'm in it now. I'm in a fancy football league.
Wow. Yeah, when you actually play or something. Anyway, okay, that's so good. How do you feel like, for you, like, you have sports, you have being a creative, and you have, like, kind of, like, being a follower of Jesus, and those are your, like, pillars, I feel like, that make up. Sam always says he's very happy if he's in front of the TV watching basketball. But I've been dragging Sam to play pickleball with me every day. So.
No, I'm enjoying it. I played a lot of tennis growing up, and so pickleball is similar, but definitely an adjustment. But yeah.
different. But like, what do you feel like for you? Like, how do you feel like your sport plays into your faith? And like you said, you only had a couple friends that were Christians growing up, but you did a lot of sports. So like, was that not a Christian environment? Was it?
Yeah,
like,
definitely not.
So like, how was that for
you
you trying to like be a Christian while you were doing sports so much?
Yeah, and that was a big question for me growing up, and that was one of the first things that I kind of consciously thought about as a Christian in sport. And every summer from age 12 to 17, I went to a summer camp, Christians in Sport, which my parents were involved with long before I was born. And that was the first time I'd ever been to a camp where there was lots of Christians and there was Bible teaching, but it was very, very focused on sports at a high level. And for someone at that time who wanted to make it their life, it was, how do you connect sports and Jesus, which seemingly were kind of a separate thing. And then I very quickly realized, wow, no, these are so interconnected, you can't separate them. And I think that's the moral of the story, that everything you do in your life is super connected with Jesus, and you can't separate them.
Yeah, whatever your hobby is or whatever.
Right, whatever all for the glory of God. And you hear people, sports people throw that around a lot. And I think understanding what that means practically is very, very powerful. But yeah, growing up, there was very little of a Jesus influence in my sports. Certainly not from me either at a young age.
Yeah.
And then I, from the things that I was taught, that I learned, and that I experienced whilst on the field in very high pressure, or seemingly high pressure, age 15 environments.
Big deal here.
Yeah.
No, but sorry.
It was like, how can I make this a real part of my life? Because I often felt like a disconnect, or like, not that I was sinning, but that I was just like saying, okay, God, just leave me for like an hour and a half. I was like, I got to concentrate on this and like properly go for it, be competitive, give little cheap shots, talk back to the ref. So there's a lot of things like that where I kind of have learned, being someone who acts as Jesus would doesn't mean not being competitive. I've been given these amazing gifts pretty amazing gifts to be able to play sport, and my body functions in a great way that I can enjoy it and play at the best of my ability. But that doesn't mean that I have to do it separate from Jesus. He's given me that amazing gift to be able to go and actually do it for his glory, glorify him in thankfulness for being able to do the thing that I love the most. And that is, that's a real blessing. And growing up, understanding a bit more of that, it just made me super grateful to be able to play rather than just like putting my worth in my performance or putting my worth in the outcome of the game. It's like, no, success is not necessarily defined by that. My worth is derived from my relationship with Jesus. I am a child of God first. Yeah, it's so good. I've been given this chance to play sport. I love it. I'm going to just go for it, all to glorify him. And then that I think rubs off on everyone around you. And it gave me just the biggest sense of relief that I would be okay if we lost. I would be okay if I didn't get picked. I would be okay if I got injured. And all of those things have happened. And as I've gotten older, those kind of letdowns have become way easier because it's, my whole worth is not tied in that. My identity is not in that. My identity is first and foremost in Christ. And then it's going to be
especially a lot of kids in school, like, I feel like that's a big part of their identity.
Especially, like, I see it all the time in, my brothers had the same, playing sport growing up, and in America, especially in social media age, you see all these 14, 15-year-old kids dunking on people's heads like, they're crazy. But that is who they are put into this box at such a young age of like this amazing sports person. What if they get injured? What if they don't manage to fulfill their potential? And the answer is, in my mind, pretty simple, is that's not who you are. That's not necessarily what you were made for. You were made for a bigger, higher purpose. So if don't turn out that route is the route for you, that's okay. You're still eternally loved no matter the outcome.
So good. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
good.
So and since then I've
So good.
had the best relationship with sport. I love it, and it doesn't mean that I'm any less competitive if you've been across the court from me or on the same pitch. You know that. But it just means that I can enjoy it more and play freely and watch freely as well. Even though I do get a bit tense when Steph Curry gets injured or something happens, doesn't mean that my heart's any less in it. It just means that it's kind of a recalibration.
So good. Okay, well, Sam, for someone who maybe, whether it's sports or creativity or whatever, like if they're, maybe there's like some kid in England or Nebraska or whatever, and they're like, this sounds great, like, good for you, bro. Like, you met some people that live in LA and that you're following. But, like, for someone who, like, has a dream, like, what do you think, and, like, was trying to follow the Lord and has a dream and, has big goals for their life, whatever that might be, like, what would you say to them or give advice to them?
Yeah, first of all, you were given those dreams for a reason. Let's not downplay this.
Come on.
Dreams are an amazing thing, and I'm so grateful to be in a position where I can still be chasing them. And that, I'd never want to tell anyone to just chill out and go to church every day and not follow your dreams. You've been put in the place that you are for a very specific reason. Yeah. And that's why a lot of people my age, some younger, some older, wrestle with the idea of, I'm a Christian, I want to serve the Lord. How about I go into ministry? And sometimes it doesn't feel quite right for people, and they're like, does that mean I'm kind of going against God's plan? Whereas actually I'd really say you've been put, and for me personally, put in this creative industry, this creative sports industry, even more niche, that you can be a light there. You can be someone who can fly the flag for Jesus and be like, I love what I do. I'm really passionate about it. I'm chasing this dream. And I've got the best helper in the world at my side. God. And so that's been a huge blessing. And so don't stop chasing that. But also, we're so blessed in this age to be able to connect with people who believe the same things and who do the same things as you across the world. And so social media, as much of a double-edged sword as it is, it's been the biggest.
It's a tool too.
Biggest connector for me to real lifelong friends, which is so funny because I'd be on my Xbox and some random person would enter the chat and my mum and dad would be like, who are you talking to online? Like the stranger danger was real growing up as a kid, like playing games.
Yeah, right.
But now it's like, a real, I've got such great friends from it, and
so
we'll continue to put a lot of my energy back into that, into connecting and meeting people. And I'm just excited to see where my dream goes. Yeah. We'll continue to plug away and enjoy the journey. The journey is the film. Yeah. Come on. That's my little catchphrase.
Love it. It's so good.
Yeah. And speaking about journeys.
What?
Carlie Dill's got a journey of her own.
No, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about.
I know.
If you're seeing this, if you made it this far, comment and I will DM and tell you what the journey is, because there's no way anybody made it this far.
No, you can cut. I paused so you can cut it.
We're not dropping that right now. Okay, well, Sam, thanks for flying all the way from London just to be on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
You flew all the way from London just to be on the Rooted Real. I'm kidding, but. Well, everyone, this is Sam Leon Cachet. Pause so I can get, he is single. You can find him at +1.
It's not +1.
That's +41?
No, 44. I'm not going to say my telephone number on this.
If you're interested, we're taking applications for, he's only going to get married for a green card. Thank you so much. I'm kidding, okay. I'm kidding.
That's why I have my match.
All right, well, thanks for being on the Rooted Real.
Cheers. Cheers, lads.
That's all for this week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yep. Go Dubs.